But we are not only have to understand what faith really is and who really exercise mindless faith, but we also must understand something about facts. And that's what we want to talk about now. We shouldn't pit facts against philosophy as if philosophy says that facts aren't important. The facts are important. Mm-hmm. We must study the facts, but we also must not be misled. We must understand the real place facts have in the makeup of a worldview.
Right, and so he tells us to think of the place facts have when it comes to theorizing about the origin of the universe or the origin of life or the origin of man himself. Have the facts or the lack thereof stopped evolutionists from promoting their point of view? And he says, no, right? First of all, we've never seen those things happen. We've never seen the origin of our universe. We haven't seen that, right? We've never seen something that goes from, non-life to life. We've never seen that. And so, that doesn't keep people from believing, well, but that happens, or that can happen, or that did happen. Right?
When we read Mitch Stokes' How to Be an Atheist, he talked about how the fact that scientists needed to come up with the multiverse theory, because in this universe, all you have is trillions of atoms and trillions of stars and 10 to the 52nd place of possible chances. And that's not enough. So if we invent just infinity more worlds,
trillions and trillions of more universes,
this is the one that evolution takes place and creates life in this way. Because it failed in all of those other universes. You have to make the 10 to the 5 millionth power and expand it and say all these different little permutations happen within these, which I believe it's Sabrina Hoffman did Lost in the Math, says this is ridiculous. And she's a German atheist through and through, and she's like, why are you expecting to find beauty and truth in this thing? Aren't we scientists? And it's a fabulous book from the opposite point of view. And she's liked my little review of her book that I probably didn't understand at all what she was talking about remotely, but I understood that fact. And so I'll put a link to that book as well, because it was well done from an atheist point of view, a scientist who says, okay, we put too much fluff in string theory to save all these things, and multiverse is one of those things that we do because it makes our math doable then, because then we're just over infinity, or infinity over, 1, which is way easier than 1 over infinity. So yes, we do care about the facts, but the facts are often in dispute. Who would have thunk?
Yeah.
Alternate facts, all those things. We laugh at it, but then, our political culture is filled with, these are my facts, these are your facts. So what are facts?
Yeah. So next what he does here is kind of says, okay, let's look at some alternative explanations. Right.
So it takes about 1,000 years to produce 1 inch of topsoil by the forces of erosion, such as wind and rain. And you take your little one to the beach.
1,000 years to produce about that much of topsoil, right?
Like, well, where does sand come from? Well, sand comes from the rocks. Well, where do the rocks come from? Well, it rains on them, and then there are layers, but they're spread out, and they're pretty even. I don't know. I don't know where these things come from, but I don't know where we started with. But once they break down, sand. There we go.
Yeah, that's right. Sand all the way down.
Right. So we have this topsoil. Now, if the Earth is billions of years old, and by the process which topsoil is created has been functioning all time in the giant cataclysmic events of Earth history over millions of billions of years, there should be a thick layer of topsoil on the Earth's crust. In fact, landing on the moon, not even the scientists knew concretely that they had land probes there, but they didn't know. Well, the moon's been there for billions of years. It could the lunar module could just sink into dust. We don't really know.
The astronauts could sink into dust.
Yeah. Stop jumping around up there. But, however, the average depth of topsoil around the world is 6 to 9 inches. How can that be if the Earth has been here for billions of years?
Wow. So think about that.
So that's just one fact.
Yeah. Here's the fact. The fact is the average, amount of topsoil around the Earth is 6 to 9 inches. And yet the claim is the earth has been here for billions and billions of years, and it takes 1,000 years just to make 1 inch. So we would think if billions of years it's been around, we should be drowning in topsoil.
Right.
And yet we're not, right? And so he says, now, do you think at this point that the scientists would say, conflicting evidence, right? Little topsoil, I must give up my theory. Forget evolution, right? No, that's not what he says the scientist does. He very calmly comes up with what we could call, and what Bahnsen calls, a rescuing device, right? He wants to rescue his theory, and so he comes up with a device for dealing with a fact that seems contrary to his theory.
Right. And Alvin Plantinga, in his very short but very dumbed down, okay, my version of his book that I couldn't pick up, the first one, but Knowledge and Christian Belief, he talks about this and he of course comes from a little different perspective from us, but he says, you have these defeaters that you could have 1 million of them and still not defeat your underlying premise. Well, I know for certain that your wife was cheating on you last night. I saw her at the gas station. Well, okay, but she was in bed with me the whole night. She didn't move. I was up. I was reading. Nope. I saw her at the gas station, and here's video of her. So video evidence. We have video evidence of her being in the gas station, showing that she's on her way to meet her mysterious lover. Well, unless if she's a clone, so here are the defeaters, and there are different weights to different ones, and so at some point you have to say, well, okay, maybe I was dreaming that she was next to me, and all these things kind of amass, and then your initial idea is defeated. And so he takes it from a kind of a different variables, kind of a math approach, and say, if you have so many of these, at some point it's going to topple over. But the book does a pretty decent job. Still a little heady, but I was able to get through it in probably a month. You fly through it in a week, it'll be fine. So Knowledge and Christian Belief is where he talks about this from kind of the opposite perspective, and saying, here are some defeaters that come up at some point, and Mitch Stokes talks about this as well, is scientists really love to hold on to their theories because they name it after themselves. They get grant money, and they get Nobel Prizes for it that end up overturning later.
Yeah. And so, so they come up with these, Plantinga calls them defeaters, he calls them rescuing devices. These are things that are, devices to deal with facts that seem to be contrary to their theory. And so, he says the scientists will say something like this. Well, with regard to the topsoil, all that topsoil that you're talking about is washed into the ocean. So that's where it is. So it's not, thousands and thousands of feet high, and we're not drowning in it. It's just washed into the ocean. Mm-hmm. Of course, that gives you a problem with all that topsoil beating in the ocean. But,
Right. and atheists do it for Christians on the other one. And so, okay, here are a collection of facts. And so everyone's theory should be defeated in the end, and everyone should kind of come up with the banal agreement of every single fact known possible. And when it comes to political strife, the argument is between raising taxes 23.5% or 23.7%. But we're that's where a debate can take place. But we just can't say, well, taxation is theft and no raising of taxes at all.
Right.